Fantasy Dominators here with you. We got your starts and your sits for week 2. Got Davey here with me this week. We're going to start with every position. Quarterbacks. Last year, the Giants and Saints. It was an offensive shootout. Both last year, Manning and Breeze tore up on points. They're way up there on the points, so you got to play them both. Got to play Manning and Breeze this week again, playing each other in week 2. Another quarterback to look at. Andy Dalton's not a great hot option, but he's going against the Steelers' horrible secondary. Andy Dalton always plays good against the Steelers' secondary, so play Andy Dalton. Let's go to running backs. Dave's got 5 running backs for you. Go ahead, Dave. What do you got?
I'm going to start with DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray had an awesome week 1. He got a lot of catches as well as runs. And Derrick Henry didn't eat into his carries too much.
Like we thought he would, so yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see, Latavius Murray against the Falcons. Falcons didn't look that good in week 1. Falcons didn't look that good in week 1, and their defense, their run defense,
their rush defense is bad.
Yeah, it's not anything special at all. Murray actually surprised me a little bit this week and played pretty well, so he would be another start. Arian Foster. I know it's the Patriots, and the Patriots, even with a backup quarterback, are probably going to beat the Dolphins. But I feel like Arian Foster is going to be the one guy that generates some offense there. And then Danny Woodhead against the Jaguars. He got 50% of the carries with Melvin Gordon. So, he gets a lot of catches as well. So that'll help, especially in PPR. And the Jags defense, it was improved. It looked a lot better this week. But still, against the run, not great. So Woodhead would be a good one. Matt Jones, he's a little bit iffy because of the injury. He's coming off injury. We'll see how he looks week 1 and how much he plays. But he would be a good one to start in week 2, I feel like, because I feel like the Cowboys, I don't know that it's going to be that high scoring of a game, but I feel like Matt Jones can run on that defense. They're missing a lot of their pass rushers to suspension, injury, things like that. So I think Matt Jones, if he is the starter, will be able to run on the
He should be. He's the talent. Just wait. So yeah, play Matt Jones. Wide receiver. Sammy Watkins did not have an awesome week like we were expecting. He'll be back week 2. Got to play Sammy Watkins. It's a pretty obvious one. Julian Edelman going against the Dolphins. Edelman always has a good game against the Dolphins. Pretty obvious one there. Got to play him if you got him. Michael Floyd. This is one that you do want to start. Michael Floyd against the Bucks. Play Michael Floyd. There's a lot of options for the Bucks secondary to be looking at, and Michael Floyd is going to have the ability to break free. He's going to get the least attention. Other than, we also have Jarvis Landry against the Pats D, the Pats secondary. I would play Jarvis Landry against the Pats secondary. And how about tight ends? Who do we see at tight ends this week to play?
Let's see. Tight ends, we're going to go to Julius Thomas. Had a really solid week 1.
Yeah.
Him and Blake Bortles looked like they're on the same page.
We both feel Julius Thomas is going to be a lot better this year. He's with that Jags team, and he's going to be a lot better than last year. And then how about D's, Dave?
Let's see. I'm going to start the Jets D. The Bills look terrible. Yeah. They didn't look good at all. And the Jets always have a solid defense.
Another D you want to play is the Seahawks and Rams. They're facing each other. Play both Ds, the Seahawks D and the Rams D.
Low scoring game, I feel like.
All right, we talked about the starts. Let's get to the sits, the players you don't want to play. Starting with quarterback. What do you think, Dave?
Sits. Sits. I'm going to start out with Dak Prescott. I know he's the hot name right now. A lot of Cowboys fans out there, but
Redskins got a good secondary.
Redskins have a very good secondary, and it's a divisional game. I just feel like Washington's got the better all-around team. So my next one would be Jameis Winston against the Cardinals. I know he was a top 3 quarterback in week 1, but the Cardinals secondary is just, you don't want to mess with that. I feel like he's going to throw a couple interceptions.
Okay.
And so their secondary with Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, all of those guys, it's just tough to score on them. And he is still a young player. So my next one would be Matt Stafford versus the Titans. This one will shock a lot of people. This is more of a gut feeling for me. The Titans have toughened up a lot. It looks like they're more geared towards running the ball and playing good defense. And that showed in week 1 as well as throughout the preseason. And so I'm actually going to sit Matt Stafford.
Okay. Running backs. I have some running backs that shouldn't be too obvious, but some people still start them just because they're big name. And these running backs are going against top Ds. So Frank Gore, you got to sit him. He's going against the Broncos. Devonta Freeman, this is a surprise one. He's actually going against the Raiders D. And this week, in week 1, he was splitting carries. You don't want to be playing him against that Raiders D. The Raiders D is a scary D to be messing with, and you can't trust Devonta Freeman when he's splitting carries with Coleman.
Coleman's getting more catches.
Yeah, because he's the third down receiver, so he's stealing from Devonta Freeman, especially in those leagues where you're getting points per receptions. Some other sits at running back, not too obvious, but Doug Martin going against the Cards. So same thing as James Winston, that beast of a defense, and then Carlos Hyde against the Panthers. So those are some sits on running backs. Wide receivers, who would you sit, Dave, at wide receiver?
Wide receiver, I'm going to go Doug Baldwin against the Rams.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Seahawks aren't as high-powered offense as everybody thinks they are. Doug Baldwin, I feel like Tyler Lockett is going to be the receiver in that game because the Panthers have a good defense, and I feel like, the Rams have a good defense, and I feel like their secondary is pretty solid. And Tyler Lockett is more of the dink and dunk, short pass guy. And so I feel like he'll be more involved. Doug Baldwin is going to be not shut down, but he's going to be limited, his upside.
And then defense. Last week we told you on defense to play the Vikings. If you played them, it paid off for you. We also said the Jags would be a good D. This week we're telling you 2 Ds to sit, which is pretty obvious. We said play Eli Manning and play Drew Brees because they're going to tear it up. Well, guess who's going to be getting torn up? Those defenses. Sit the Saints D, sit the Giants D. Any other defenses maybe to consider? Maybe the Vikings D sit against the Packers, but
yes,
we're split on that one. I love the Vikings D. I think they'll do awesome against the Packers. Dave,
and I actually love the Vikings defense too, and I feel like they'll limit Green Bay.
But you saw what the Jags did to the Packers D. They kept them in check today.
They did.
And the Vikings and the Jags are 2 surprise Ds this year, along with the Raiders. Those are the 3 surprise Ds.
Right.
And I see the Vikings keeping them in check as well. It's a divisional game, but who knows?
It's still Aaron Rodgers, though, and they put up a lot of points against the Vikings traditionally. And so I feel like they'll pick him off a couple times, and they'll play tough against him. But I don't know that I would start any defense against a Green Bay high-powered offense like that.
Yeah. Last recommendation, play Keenan Allen.
Shut up. Yeah, that hurt. That hurt as a Chargers fan and as a fantasy owner of him on almost every team because I thought he was going to break out. That one stings. Look up their number 3 wide receiver. He's a big, tall guy. Tyrell Williams, I think, is his name. He's going to get some of those targets, and he's a big, tall guy.
He can be a great pickup. So Tyrell Williams for the Chargers. Other than that, we'll see you next week on Week 3. Fantasy Dominators. From Poinky to Davey.
Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.